reel where we saw that dark ray image where she had the two lightsabers, which is I'm gonna put money on it being a dream. There's
Probably,
like
probably.
it's 100%
Probably.
a dream sequence. If it's not a dream sequence, I'm so excited to see how that works in. We got our first look at the Mandalorian. It looks great. We did anyone else think it would be before the original trilogy? Because that's what I did.
I thought maybe.
No, but only because I remembered them saying it originally.
Oh, look at me! I'm Sam. I've got a good memory. Yeah, so this is set. The Mandalorian is set 8 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, which is fascinating. It's a complete black period, a black spot for all of Star Wars. We know nothing of that period between episodes 6 and 7, so it's nice to see something. And the big news, which made a lot of people happy, including me, as I like Scottish people, the Obi-Wan series was confirmed with Ewan McGregor returning to star.
Oh, that
Again,
reminds me.
Yay!
I gotta tell you a story. I almost met Ewan McGregor here in North Carolina, of all
cool story, bro.
places. Yeah. While I was here in North Carolina, apparently his daughter, his youngest daughter, wants to go to college at my alma mater. So
Oh, cool.
random. And my mom now works for there, and didn't tell me he was coming that day, even though she knew and told my sister, who doesn't know who he is, told my sister to come. She didn't know. But then it was like,
Oh my god.
thanks, mom. It's like, thanks a lot.
Yes. Anyway,
Go ahead. Sorry.
sorry. And finally, so that is it. That is all of the major movies and TV news of the comic book sphere that came out over the summer. A lot of things happened. Do we have time, and do we actually want to talk about the Sony Marvel split?
That's on the agenda. We can talk about it now. So
Should we
yeah.
do it now?
So
We're in the mood for it. Do you mind
yeah.
if I take this? Because I've been doing so much research into this.
Sure. You can. We've had some interesting things that have popped out since then, so I just want to make sure you actually catch those. So go ahead. Go ahead. Give us the details.
Please, yeah. So the crux of the issue, as everyone knows, Marvel, the Sony have the rights to the Spider-Man character and had 95% of the box office take. The deal with Marvel to make sure that he got into the MCU was that Marvel got all of the merchandising rights, which is, in all intents and purposes, a great deal for both parties. It's a win-win situation. Would
That's not entirely right. But yeah, so what happened was that back actually, I want to say this was 2012. Sony sold them the merchandising rights. Sony outright sold them for like less than $200 million. It was like, this is
yes,
the
sorry,
dumbest
thank
move
you.
ever. And this, so the deal that happened between them for Civil War and the rest of it has nothing to do with the merchandising. That was already out the window. Disney already had that. That was an entirely separate deal.
Thank you very much. I meant to say that.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Ivan. Um, Disney go to Sony and basically say, we want more money and we want to put our own money into this, knowing full well that this is the entire reason that Marvel don't own that the Marvel Studios don't own the Spider-Man character. Sony responded quite rightly, going, "No, that's not a good deal. Come back with something better, or we're going to stay to our own deal." Disney's response, I don't know why, is to go to the court of public opinion and try and portray Sony as this evil corporation who are like, and I just, it made me so angry because Disney should not throw stones in glass houses. They are minutes away from being given a court order about monopolizing the film industry. Literally 41% of the movies coming out next year are under the Disney banner.
See, okay, so that's a lot of the stuff that
There
was
there is
coming out
there is
originally,
there is
news
so
wise.
much to this thing, and we don't have time to go into literally every minute detail.
That is true. We don't have a ton of time. I will say about it though that there's something. Okay, so this is stuff that we do know, but just based on the Sony leak. The Sony leak gave out a lot of information.
Hmm.
We know for a fact that Sony, when there's something they want to get out, but they don't want to officially announce something, they have a couple of sources that they will just give information to. Deadline is one of them. They even named the same exact guy who they gave the story to is one of the guys they routinely give information to. So that's not abnormal. This was something Sony put out there. The original deal that happened between Disney and Sony was a very, originally it was like 5 pages. You could find it on WikiLeaks. It's a very short, sweet deal. It basically just says Spider-Man is in the MCU. Sony gets 2 movies out of it. That's it. They expanded on the deal, saying, hey, he's going to be in the Avengers movies and whatever else we're going to put him in for 3 movies. And then we plus have the 2 solo films in the MCU. That was the original deal. Since then, they wanted to renegotiate. We found out some more information, and I'll just bring this up just because we have actual fact of it now. Disney have been trying to have negotiations with Sony about this since October of last year. But Sony wasn't answering because they were doing Venom. They just released Venom, wanted to see how that succeeded first, which it did really well. And then Into the Spider-Verse came out and did really well critically. So they basically weren't answering it. The original offer that they made was the 70-30 split. And then when they didn't answer, and after Far From Home, then they made the 50-50 offer for them. Then they made that offer to them, which Sony just turned down, but then leaked it to the other guy, didn't mention the 70-30 split, and just threw that out there. There's a lot of misinformation about this, but it's just kind of by design. We did get an update earlier today, though. Like I've been saying on Twitter, they're going back to the discussion table. This isn't a done deal. Both sides are just preparing to walk away to see if whoever blinks first. That's pretty much it. They're just going to see who moves first. This isn't done for certain. This is everyone's positioning themselves like, we don't need them, we don't need the other person, but it's not done. This stuff's never done. So, anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that, just to kind of clear up some stuff. Because there's a ton of information, and I don't blame anybody for being misinformed on it, because there's just so many different things. And I got suckered into something a couple weeks ago. I saw a news source, and I heard some rumblings as well, which confirmed some parts of it. But I got suckered into a source saying it was going to be a deal, and it didn't happen. So, yeah, this is a big mess. Anyway, there's a good article on Hollywood Reporter that pretty much sums up all the stuff we've learned since then. I'll give you guys a link sometime. Anyway, so other topics?
It's a big mess. There's a lot going on. We picked up a heck of a time to take a break, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, boy. But yeah, hopefully this will clear up a lot of the stuff. So moving on a little bit more, next topic I want to talk about, Gears of War 5. We got first impression articles are out. So Sam, since Jez Corden was one of the main guys over there at Windows Central, what's the general consensus about Gears 5 so far from the impressions?
Previews seem incredibly positive, even from people who usually don't like the Gears games. A lot of previews, I know Polygon was positive, Games Radar, Press Start. See here, obviously our own at Windows Central. Everyone who got to go to the preview event and play about 5 hours of the campaign says it's really, really good. There's a level, I believe it's Act 4, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's Act 3. I could be wrong about that. That is 50 times the size of any other Gears level franchise. Wow. That you actually get to use a skiff to roam around a desert and a tundra. This time, you can shoot the ice out from underneath enemies in frozen areas, and then the water will refreeze, so you can use it as a trap again. Open world in certain ways, but it's not like open world, but it's open enough to the point where you have a map. You can store heavy weapons on the skiff. There's side missions. You can get upgrades for Jack. And the story, while I don't know too many details, people are saying that it's really, really good. Impressions are very positive right now. And I'm expecting reviews to come out very, very high, honestly.
This game's going to be dope. And what I played of the multiplayer and the tech test, the multiplayer is excellent, to say the least.
Oh, yeah, the multiplayer was phenomenal. I love the tech test. And it's very approachable. They finally figured out how to make it approachable for new people to get into it. without sacrificing, what that Gears gameplay is. I'm really, really excited.
I am too. This is probably my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. And I'm not even really that big of a Gears fan, guys. And I'm really hyped for this one.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Even, but like I said, even from the people I've talked to, like the journalists I've talked to, even people who aren't traditionally Gears fans are really looking forward to this, are saying that they really liked what they saw. Plus, the trailer was epic. The campaign trailer released at Gamescom. Cool. Can't go wrong with some 9 Inch Nails. Come on.
No, you can't. It really was a good campaign trailer, which, a bunch of other people were wondering too. It makes you wonder why they didn't show that earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I'm beginning to wonder, Mike. I'm beginning to wonder if they were like gambling that they could get more attention by just talking about it right as the game released. Is having all these positive impressions, keeping people in suspense, and then finally opening the floodgates, just a couple of days before the game comes out. I don't know. We'll see. The marketing is in full force now, though. I can't go anywhere without seeing an ad for it. Banner ads up in Chicago and New York, and it's all over YouTube and stuff like that. So it's going to be really, really interesting.
All right. I'm excited for Gears 5. I had my buddy who I've been playing Gears with since forever now. Like, he contacted me out of the blue. He texted me and he was like, "So we playing Gears 5?" I'm like, "Yes." And so it's like, good. And so we haven't talked in a long time, but Gears is fun to get people out of the woodwork again. But yeah, I'm happy about that. It's gonna be good.
Nice.
What 9 Inch Nails song was for the trailer? I haven't watched it.
Head Like a Hole.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, James. If you haven't seen the trailer, go look it up.
Right. I remember the one they used Bury a Friend, which I'm a big into Billie Eilish. Oh, speaking of films, we didn't even mention the new Bond title, No Time to Die. It sounds bad. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that title. I'm not a fan of that title at all.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you guys. I'm not feeling it. It's like, no.
Nah.
So, I'm just not, whatever. I don't know anymore. Anyway, moving right along. Other topics to try to discuss. We already talked about Spider-Man being out of the MCU. Latest rumor that's been floating around. Sony is supposedly going to be buying Remedy. Sam, is this true or not? Do you have the inside scoop? What's the deal?
Remedy has a marketing deal with Sony. It's not surprising that Sony is promoting a lot of their tweets. No, I have not heard anything that makes me actually believe they were. And here's the thing. Remedy is a public company. Unlike many studios, you can go buy shares of Remedy. Like, they are a public organization. They are a public company, which means, spoiler alert, if they were being acquired, we'd know about it. You have to be transparent about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It happened. It could be announced tomorrow. But until it happens, it isn't happening. We'll know if it happens. Oh, maybe a sign, or ooh, maybe this. Like, they might partner with Sony for a game next gen. I can totally believe that. I could see that happening. But acquisitions of public companies, like, let's rein things in here a bit.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Mike, what are your thoughts? You've been quiet.
I don't know. People thought that because, Guerrilla Games congratulated Remedy on the launch, everybody got up into a fever like, oh my god, Sony's buying Remedy now. What I think is funny is these Sony drones did not like Remedy that much, it seemed, when Quantum Break was out. But now all of a sudden there's all this hype about Sony potentially buying Remedy, which I think is funny in that regard. I mean, some people tried to piggyback off of it because Neil Druckmann posted a picture of himself playing Gears 5, and then it's like, oh, Microsoft is going to acquire Naughty Dog now.
It's like you do. A PlayStation has a marketing deal for Control. They have the marketing, so of course they're promoting it. And then B, it's like, you guys do understand that game developers are just friends, right? Each other, and they're mostly above the nonsense that you occupy yourselves with.
Right.
Like, again, not saying it can't happen. It could be announced tomorrow. but that doesn't mean that there's clear foreshadowing of it right now.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, this is more
Crazy.
just talk right now. Do I think Remedy's gonna be bought by Sony? Probably not. Do I think they're gonna be bought by somebody? Yes. I'm at the point where I think that if you're not a studio who's already owned by one of the big three, you're about to be. So, if you're, I think the age of the second party publishing is done. I just don't, I don't see it anymore. I think the second
I'm way
party
too
publishing,
tired.
like everyone's
Yeah,
gonna be bought up. But
way
this
too
is
tired
normal.
for it right now. But here's the thing, Ivan. Like, I've had a rant on this. Like, enjoy your first parties being built up and all that, but we are seeing the death of the independent studio culture these days. Like, we realize everyone is being snapped up.
See, I'm not sure about that.
Play independent.
These things happen in waves. Like we go through a period where there's a rapid expansion and there's tons of new studios left and right and whatever, and there's indie devs, but then everyone slowly gets consolidated and bought out. Someone's calling me. 1 second. Everyone gets consolidated and bought out, but then we see like a period where everyone like, explodes again with indie devs and it just goes crazy again, and then it goes right back to the same thing. People get bought out again. So it's a matter of time. We're just in the consolidation phase.
Oh, so, yeah, the industry is consolidating right now.
Yeah. So, but I say I don't want to call it the death, because it's not the death. It's gonna come back again. Like, but it just right now, yeah, it's the end of this wave. So, what else is there? I'm trying to wrap this up so we can finish these technical problems and see what the deal is. So, bear with us here. So yeah, we're gonna wrap things up now. Thank you guys for tuning in and helping us out. We're still working how OBS works and getting all this stuff worked out. I got it stabilized. At least we fixed the sound problem. You know, we fixed that one. So. I realize if I change anything live on the show that requires me changing filters and stuff, it will not take effect until I close down the stream and start it up again. So I'll try to kind of parse this down for everybody in terms of the audio log. So I'll fix it. So yeah, just bear with us there. Other than that, it's been a decent show. I'm interested to see what the auto log sounds like. So, anyway, we'll do our outros for the evening. James, where can good people find you?
The good and bad people can find me on Twitter at James_S Wilson. I'm pretty fun, I think. I'm pretty good at talking to most people about things. Come and talk to me if you want to talk about professional wrestling, Radiohead, why CM Punk is the best of all time, the best in the world even. I'm very tired.
Yeah. All right, Mike.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another fine episode of the Multiverse Show. It feels great to be back. You can find me on Twitter at The Truth of Mike P. Also on Xbox, Twitch, wherever at Mike P. The Truth.
All right, Sam.
On Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. Happy to talk to you. You can find writing on different mobile nations websites like Central.
All right, and thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Anchorman V2. Find me on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, all the usual stuff. Same tag, and we are gonna get things wrapped up.